The whitetail deer is America's favorite big game animal, and whitetail deer farming is the fastest growing segment in the American agriculture industry. Our program's mission is to dive into the world of deer farming and discover why tens of thousands of Americans compete to create the biggest bucks in the world. And by the biggest bucks, we don't just mean the size of the antlers. The financial investment opportunities produced even on small parcels of rural land will blow you away. Join me as we discover how whitetail genetics, deer auctions, animal husbandry, and so much more drive the deer farming industry. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Well, on today's program, we're going to be located just south of San Antonio, Texas, out of a little town called Poteet. And we're going to be visiting a friend of mine, Robert Myers, and he owns Blackjack Whitetails.
I'm Robert Myers, the owner of Blackjack Whitetails. I've known Keith for about 4 years. This is the second show that we've done with him. He's a great guy. So we're here at the Blackjack Ranch. It's not a very big ranch, about 300 acres, but we have probably about 20 acres of pens. When you're a deer breeder, you don't have to have a lot of property to raise deer. So always keep that in mind when you're looking at getting in the breeder business. You know, it's how you build your pens, how it's laid out, how easy it's to work your deer in your pens. And as you can see, you don't have to own a gazillion acres to grow big deer.
All right, so we wound up coming out here to Blackjack Whitetails last year, and everybody was looking forward to seeing Blackjack. I was looking forward to seeing him for the very first time in person. Of course, Blackjack has been on magazine covers, and I mean, everybody in the industry knows who Blackjack is. And last year, we looked at him at 4 years old, and he was incredible. And I knew last year when we were out here, you had fawns out of him. And so we're in the yearling pen now, and I want to see some Blackjack yearlings. So point some out to me.
See right there, that's 9037.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Blackjack Triple Crown overnight. 7 goes back to 727.
That's a heck of a deer. The deal about it is, I know that Blackjack really at 2 years old, you bred with him, so you got to have some 2-year-olds on the ground.
I do.
Okay, but at 3 years old, the industry discovered Blackjack at 3 years old, and they discovered you. Okay, is what happened. And so everybody started breeding with him. And so not just he's got to be big, he's got to have a great pedigree, and that's all valuable. But when they put deer on the ground like this as yearlings, that's when you really judge whether the deer has performance or not. And so look at these 2 deer over there. Are they got to be Blackjack as well.
They are Blackjack.
Well, you bred the crud out of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's your deer. Yeah. Okay, so here's something else I want to point out. Making money in the deer business, the only way you make any money in the deer business is selling something. The only way you make any money in the deer business is selling. Okay, and so the one thing to look at with deer breeders, when you're looking at buying deer, look at guys that are breeding to their own deer. Think about that, okay? There's a lot of guys that have got big deer, but they don't breed to them. And that ought to tell you something right there. You bred him heavy. And look at these deer. I mean, they're great. So I can't wait to see Blackjack later on. I mean, I know you bred him hard, so you had to have gone backwards, but we'll take a look at him in a minute. You're kind of snickering like he didn't go backwards.
I didn't. Future's bright right now.
Okay.
Blackjack pens.
All right, so you've got not just the bucks out of Blackjack here, but there's some bucks out of other deer in here as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me who you got. Who did you breed to?
You know, as far as yearlings, I think we probably got 16, 17. So, you know, lots of Triple Crown. We have lots of Blackjack overnight.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Blackjack horsepower. You know, just
so nothing but strong pedigree.
Strong pedigree.
All right, so if somebody wants more information, Blackjack Whitetails is in Poteet, Texas. Okay, Poteet, Texas is, somebody may have heard of the Poteet Strawberry Festival.
Sure.
I mean, it's just south of San Antonio, not downtown San Antonio's right there, so it's convenient. You fly in here and get over. He sells semen, of course, but he also sells deer. Okay, give him a phone number.
210-889-3962.
And what we're going to do now, take me over to the 2-year-olds. I want to see.
Yes, sir.
I want to see what you got, please. Now it's time for one of our frequently asked questions. Once you run up to the barn, you wind up taking a vaginal implant and you take a little tool and you insert the cedar in their vagina. And you send them back to the pen. About 17 days later, whenever you pull the deer back to the barn, you wind up remove the cedar and then you give them a hormone shot. You send them back. We wait a specific amount of time. Typically it's 56 to 60 hours. At that point, you bring the deer back in. Each deer is put in a squeeze chute and the semen is thawed out from the liquid nitrogen where it is stored. Once warmed, a light and speculum are used to guide an insemination device that's used to place the semen in the cervix. Once that's done without any sedation, the does are returned to the pen and hopefully they're bred. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Head on over to deerandwildlifestories.com and hit the FAQ tab and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by New Dart, leading the industry in accuracy.
So part of the first does that I bought from Derby Sands, I ended up buying Yellow Diamond, which was Yellow 1102. So with that purchase, Yellow Diamond, we've had Yellow Diamond since 2013, and she's just one of a kind doe. The offspring that she's throwing, we've had Sudden Express sons, we've had Big Stitch sons, we've had Blue Chip sons, and every one of those deer have been just incredible. So every year she's never missed a lick.
All right, so these guys, how old are they?
These are 2-year-olds.
Man, you got some nice. I mean, how many of them are in here? A couple of dozen anyway?
I think we're at, I think there's like right at 30.
Goodness gracious, I mean, there's some really nice framed ones. Okay, so I've got this list now and I can actually look at it and see who is who. So let's see here. 8034, that's a beast of a deer. And that is
8034.
Blackjack Green 33.
Yeah, that's a Blackjack Double Down.
Okay,
Double
okay.
Down from Jerry Birch.
Well, no wonder.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I mean, every one of these pedigrees is stout. Look at that guy right there. That is a stud. My gosh. That's another blackjack.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he's getting on the ground. So let me ask you this. Does anybody else I mean, we looked at blackjack. I did earlier this morning, and I went on the NADAR website, and I found out blackjack had 837 offspring is what's registered. I know there's got to be several hundred more that are out there that are to be registered, but nobody hardly has any 2-year-olds out of him because they didn't breed him back then.
No, sir.
So you're kind of ahead of the game because you actually bred him.
Yes, sir. Their frames, you can see Blackjack's frames in a couple of them, nice wide,
Yeah.
lay back.
Wow. Okay, well, all right, so last year you wound up, you had a 1-year-old, I mean, he was a stud, and you named him Wingman. We filmed him, I mean, so where is he in here?
He's in the Blackjack pen.
Oh, so you're saving him to last, huh?
That's right.
Okay. All right, yeah. So last year we wound up as a yearling. You know, a little while ago we showed you all the yearlings, but I want to go back and show you what Wingman looked like as a yearling. So we're going to go see him at the last segment of the show when we go see Blackjack. So he's in there with him?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so you had another buck that you got as a deer breeder. To get our deer, we buy deer. We buy, trade, partner, and all that with different deer breeders. And we both participate in the high roller buck draft, and Robert got a buck at the buck draft, and it's an Unforgiven son. I love Unforgiven. What a great deer. He's really putting it on the ground, and that deer ought to be 3 now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go see the 3-year-old. So I want to go see him.
Let's go see it.
All right. All right, so we're on our way to take a look at the 3-year-olds, and we're driving down the alley. How many pins you got?
20.
Okay, driving down the alley, so I'm looking like this, like a kid in a candy store, you know? And I said, stop! So there's only 3 bucks in this pen, but one of them is the man. Who is that?
That's Straight Up.
He is Straight Up, all right. Golly, he's got a great look. And that deer right there came from the high roller buck draft.
Yes, sir.
You lucky dog. I mean, I got some good deer out of the draft too, but that is a great deer. So who is he?
He's an Unforgiven Triple Crown Shadow Athena.
Well, no wonder. No wonder. Look at that. Okay, so Let me ask you, semen for sale?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. All right, man, let's go to the 3-year-olds. I mean, that's a nice 3-year-old. Whoa, before we leave, why you got the 2-year-olds in here with you?
Keep him calm.
Okay.
They're calm deer. So.
All right. They are calm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's go see some more 3-year-olds.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build. Maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction, the leading design build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on. Rafter P Construction will be with you every step of the way to make your one-of-a-kind build a reality. Okay, so here are the 3-year-olds right here, and according to the little guide right here, we've got, holy smokes, Shadow, Triple Crown, Stitches, Sudden Express, Sunrise, Triple Aught, Monarch, Triple X. Holy smokes. Wow. Well, no wonder. Okay, so did you buy these deer, or were they born here?
They were born here.
All of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wow. Holy smokes. Okay, so somebody's going to be sitting here looking at this show and they're going to say, what's going to happen to these deer? Okay, they're big and they got great pedigrees. So tell everybody what's going to happen to these deer.
Well, these deer are going to be released out on the ranch. There's a few ranches that they're going to buy them for stockers to improve their genetics on their ranches, mostly. So.
And when people do that, they'll wind up, they come out here. I mean, what he's talking about in of course, our program airs globally now on the internet, but it airs on the Pursuit channel nationwide. And a lot of people don't realize that in Texas, under high fences, we can buy and sell deer. We have to do it through permits with the Parks and Wildlife Department, but people can come out here and they can actually take a look at these deer and say, okay, I like that one, and that one's out of this, or whatever, and you put a price on it, and literally it can be bought and taken and put on a piece of property that's high fenced and permitted, and allowed to spread the genetics. I mean, we talked about this before. We're both hunters and we've been hunting for all our lives, and we never saw deer like these deer right here because people had shut the genetics out. And so when you are allowed to bring new genetics in, you're going to improve the value of the piece of property. You're going to improve the hunter's experience value. And I look at it, it's a good deal for everybody. And I mean, would you ever have thought that you were going to grow deer like this?
Not a million years. Just blows me away.
I know. I mean, this guy right here is beautiful. I mean, that's who's that? Sudden Express. I mean, no wonder. I mean, golly. Okay, so are you breeding any of these deer, or these deer are all going away?
These are all stockers.
Okay, all of them going away. Would somebody be able to buy these? I mean, clearly, if somebody sees one in here that they'd like to breed with, they could buy them as a breeder as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
We do have a couple of these deer that have been bought as breeders.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so other breeders have come in here and bought these, and
yes,
they're
sir.
taking them out. Okay, if you're going to buy deer from Robert, or from any deer breeder for that matter, a buck, most of the time it is bought and delivered before the middle of September.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're getting close to it. We're in the middle of August right now, and these 3-year-olds you're looking at, and every buck that you're looking at right now is drying up. I mean, they're basically done. Their antlers are done. Some of them got maybe a little bit of pushing, but like that guy right there, you can tell he is, he's starting to dry up. They're all starting to dry up. All right, so let's head on over to see Blackjack. But is he in the same pen as he was last year?
No, sir. We moved him in a different pen.
Really? Well, I'm glad to hear that. The reason why is I told you last year, because Blackjack is so big that last year, the pen you had him in, there was kind of a tree. He always liked going underneath that one tree, and it was so close to the fence, I thought his horns are like 4 feet wide. I thought he doesn't know how big he is, and I was worried about him hitting the fence. You remember, I said, man, you didn't take that tree down.
Yeah, I told David to cut it down many years in a row, and he'd get it between that tree and the fence.
Yeah, he loved hanging there, so, okay. I'm glad that you moved him. And is he in a bigger pen or smaller pen?
A smaller pen.
How many bucks you got with him?
4.
Okay, let's go look at him.
Now some great information on fencing from our friends at LE Fence.
Hey guys, it's Ron here with LE Fence again. Kind of showing you a unique project that we did. Sometimes you get certain types of animals that are athletic game, ibex, different types of sheep that are really good at jumping corners, getting out of your enclosures or your breeding bins. You know, as soon as they do that, you're never going to see them again, especially if you're in a rocky terrain with a lot of mountains like we are right now. So right here we've got some breeding pins, and what we did is we put some corner toppers over top of our deer pins to keep the animals from jumping out. So basically what you do on this is just wherever your corner is, at a 45-degree angle, you just take into a top rail a 2-inch square tubing, cut across, just make a triangle with it, and then on top, go ahead and just weld some 4-inch cattle panel to the top. So here at LE Fence, adding your corner toppers is our #1 solution at trying to keep animals from getting out of your enclosures, as long as they know how to jump more than 8 feet. If you have any questions, just give me a call. Have a good day.
The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you in part by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds. So every deer breeder that I know has their fingers crossed when it comes to the antlers growing out on their deer, because they're hoping to grow a monster. Well, I want you to take a look at this 2-year-old right here. That's a 2-year-old buck. And at 2 years old, nobody in the deer industry gave it a second thought about breeding with that buck, except for one man. His name is Robert Myers. Robert owned this deer. And this deer became a legend, a living legend. At 3 years old, this deer became discovered. Okay, this is Blackjack. I mean, he has literally changed everybody's life in the deer industry. And I want to show you what he looks like at 4. Look at this. So at 4 years of age, Blackjack really put it on. As you can see, the antlers are absolutely ginormous. And everybody started breeding with him in the industry.
If somebody would have told me roll it back 15 to 20 years forward, and have been a part of one of the biggest bucks, known bucks in the country, I would have never thought it. It wasn't something that was on my mind, but now it's here. It's surreal that you know, the opportunity that this buck has given me in Blackjack Ranch. It's just phenomenal.
All right, I've been looking forward to the whole season, seeing that buck right there. Blackjack at 5. Holy smokes, Robert. He is giant. He hadn't gone backwards at all.
No, sir, he had.
My goodness, so what did he score last year?
402.
And he's as good, or maybe a little bit better this year. And the look.
He's still growing, but yeah, he's getting there.
Holy smokes. I mean, folks, I don't think that you realize how big that deer is. I mean, Robert's got you got some replicas in your office, but until you get up there and you look at him up close and personal, it's like you don't realize how big his antlers are. I mean, so I looked at the registry, and he's got 837 offspring out of him that are registered. So
yes, sir.
People really started breeding him hard. Okay, and at this time next year, because I know semen sales have to be through the roof, which is good for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I think this guy, he's the luckiest guy in the deer business. I mean, he really is. He buys Yellow Diamond from John Viesca right down the road, okay, and doesn't know what he's going to do with her. He gets big stick semen, puts it in her, and the next thing you know, voila. I mean, look at him. I mean, it's like, golly. Okay, so who else is in here with him? Because clearly, he overshadows everybody else, but the thing about it is everybody else in here is big. So who you got? Oh, show me Wingman, because you said earlier that Wingman was in this pen.
Yeah, Wingman's right there. Yeah, 80-24.
What happened to his antlers?
He bumped it, you know, right when he started growing. Bumped
one
it out.
side, yeah.
Yeah, bumped it, and it just kind of made him, you know, a little lopsided this year, but I'm not worried about it. You can kind of see how big his frame is, and that's his brother.
And he's 2. Wingman's 2.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, last year we filmed him at 1, and so there he is at 2. So his brother what?
His brother is, Wingman's brother's 80-21, so they're blue chip Yellow Diamond. So every buck in this pen, there's 4 of them, they're Yellow Diamond sons.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, she is getting it done.
She's getting it done.
It's unreal. And how old is she?
She's 2011, so she's right there at 9-10 years old.
And Orange One, her mom is like an 07 model?
Oh, 2007.
Golly, they're still alive and well. And you know, if y'all want to come out here and you want to see Blackjack in person, what you need to do is you need to get a hold of Robert Myers. Okay, and you can give him a call. You can go to his website and take a look at it. He is real close to San Antonio. Whether you're driving in, driving just come straight down Interstate 35, get off at Poteet, and but you need to give him a call. And so go ahead and give him a telephone number.
That's 210-889-3962.
And I'm gonna tell you something about Robert. Robert knows that he's the luckiest guy in the deer business. No, you do. And I mean, I'm proud of you. I mean, it's like he's the most humble, modest guy that I know with a deer like that. I mean, Blackjack, everybody in the country, literally everybody in the country that's a deer breeder knows about Blackjack, and it's clear why. And 837 offspring in the NADAR registry is just proof, and next year at this time, there's probably gonna be twice that many, so. Congratulations, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us out, and thank you all for watching. And if you got any questions or comments, you're watching online, go ahead and post them below, and we'll get back with you. If you're not watching online, head on over to our YouTube channel, and make sure to subscribe while you're at it. And if you want more information about coming out to Blackjack Whitetails, give Robert a call. My name is Keith Warren, and I'll see you next time. Hey there, make sure and subscribe to the Deer Farming channel by hitting the subscribe button right now. Brought to you by Rafter Construction, the leading design build contractor in North Texas for farms and ranches. Go to rafterpconstruction.com for your dream build.